One of the potential uses of wearable devices is as authentication devices. You've got in your smartphone all the sensors, all the software, all the features that you need to do true, strong authentication. But how do you do it well? That's why I am here with Karthik at Macvaar, who's going to explain how you can have multi-factor authentication with the devices you already own. Thank you very much for speaking with us. What is Macvaar?
So Macvaar, we are a software service provider, and we provide applications on top of NFC, Bluetooth, and face recognition algorithms. So we provide our customized APIs for people to use, and we build on top of that and create usable products for the environment and this community.
I would also like to add that Macvaar stands for Mobile Advanced Computer Vision and Augmented Reality. So we are pretty much into the cutting edge and bleeding edge things of Silicon Valley, and we are a Silicon Valley based startup.
Now, this is one of the things that has been a sore spot for not just the Internet of Things, not just for wearables, but the Internet in general. How do you get a good experience? So an experience that is flawless, that is easy, that doesn't take that much time for the end user, while at the same time guaranteeing that your communication is going to be secure and that your app is not going to be man in the middle. How do you do that?
Okay, since our encryption happens on the cloud, right, it undergoes something called homomorphic encryption. That is, the data is secure both while in transit and in the cloud. And we try to minimize, computational dependence on a device. So we can use a basic Android phone to do the to do the transmission to the cloud and to do the back and forth transmission to the cloud. So that is how we ensure security. And security has got three pillars. One is security, one is usability, and one is functionality. We try to focus more on the security and the functionality part. And the usability is a little lower as compared to the security and functionality. But considering the high value of commodities and products that we are securing, it definitely is taken into account, because we are talking to large automobile companies and the likes of banks and so on, and they would need authentication systems which are foolproof, and they wouldn't mind compromising a little bit on the usability to be assured of 100% security and functionality. That's a strong point.
Yeah, of course, there are some industries where security isn't just something that would be nice to have. It's an absolute necessity. So can you show me, how does your authentication model actually work?
So yes, so we provide multi-factor authentication because one is never good enough. People hack into it, they break through it, they know ways to work around the system. So one of the applications we started off with was a face and finger authentication. So what we do is we capture the face of a user and his biometric finger scanning, and we use that to authenticate the user. So we capture the details from the user, we push it to the cloud, and at the endpoint we have a live data of the user. We have a video running, and that's going to capture the user's face and transmit to the cloud, and we can make authentication and make sure the faces match, and we authenticate the system. The other one we're working on is a multi-user authentication system. Say you want a car and you want to authenticate it to your family. Your wife should be able to use it, your sister should be able to use it. So for that we have a multi-user authentication that matches your face against a list of templates and brings up the security module. Even then, we faced up with a big problem. So we had this people holding up play cards of images, like, I can just show a picture and get inside the system. That's easily hackable. So what we did there was to get through that route, we did something called a 3D multi-user authentication. So using 3D multi-user, we use the phone's accelerometer and gyroscope, which knows your phone's position, and we capture your face in multiple dimensions. I'm going to take a portrait, I'm going to take a 45 degree, 90 degree, all the way down, and I'm going to capture your image. So once I've got a 3D model of yours, I have a three-dimensional structure that can be foolproof. You cannot hold a play card and say it's a 2D image. So using that, we can authenticate the same method. We just authenticate a 2D template against a 3D model and authenticate the car. So this software system was developed for a taxi service company. So the taxi service company, they had a problem, as in, say John registered to the company. He had a background check done, he had a history check done, everything was cool. He's a great guy, and they gave him the license to drive the car. But what happened was, John goes back home and tells William, okay, William, you drive the car, I'm just going to sit at home. So we try to overcome this problem by taking photos of John and make sure that when a car is started and the car is driving, we make sure that John is the one driving the car and not William or some other person. So that's how we develop the system. But this system is also applicable to other stuff like, drone manipulation, house entry. It's a software module that you can retrofit into any application that you want.
And a more dramatic use case of the system would be a president of a country authorizing a black ops operation in a place like Afghanistan, right? The data is secure while it is going to the satellite and while it is going to the commandos in Afghanistan. But how do we know that it is the actual president of the country, authorizing the particular black ops? Just think of that, hypothetical scenario. So this can be this particular multi-factor authentication system that we have developed, right? Authorizes, it takes into account three things. One is who you are, again, what you know, and what you have. So that is what multi-factor is all about. It takes into account who you are, what you know, and what you have. You get it? So this is the, it's almost, our system is pretty much foolproof, and we are kind of inviting people to take a crack at, basically hacking our system and figuring out what the loopholes are. So, and we have this amazing video recognition algorithm which actually does a track of your lips to make sure that you are the person who's actually spelling out the voice password, and you're not merely playing back a MP3 file of a password. How about that? So, yeah.
Where I see the value in this is that you are essentially enabling all these companies here at this conference to integrate strong authentication, strong security. You become the third party that secures the gateway into the service. So what's the end game for you? Where would you like to see Macvaar at next year's show?
Okay, I'll give you a small use case. For example, if you're owning a fleet of companies, let's say you're a Costco or a Walmart, and if you're having trucks which basically ship millions of dollars of equipment worth of stuff, or if you're having a fleet of aeroplanes like a FedEx, which ship billions of dollars worth of goods every year, you want to make sure that the person driving the automobile or the plane is the real authentic user. You can integrate Macvaar's APIs and Macvaar's intellectual property in your existing hardware, and you can make sure that you have the authentic user sitting inside the particular cockpit or the automobile. That's pretty much a consumer to consumer. That's pretty much a business to business and use case. It's an enterprise level use case, and you can have it in securing the vaults of banks and securing Fort Knox, things like that, right? I mean, anything of extremely high value can be secured with extreme amounts of security and functionality, but with a small compromise in usability. Yeah, we do agree that there is a small latency in the in the voice recognition and in the facial recognition and in the fingerprinting, but we are working on those challenges, and we will eventually mitigate it. The better the hardware, the better our product actually. So
Gentlemen, thank you very much. If they would like to find out more about your company, if they'd like to find out more about your solution, where can they go?
So if you want to know more about Macvaar and our products and solutions that we offer, you could go up to www.macvaar.com. So that's MACVAAR.com, and you could have a look at us, look at our profile, and do feel free to drop in an email so that we could work with. We are problem solvers. So you got a problem statement, you want to fix something in your system, you got a loophole, I want to fix that up with something. We got a solution for you. Do drop us an email, we'll get back to you, and great.
Thank you for the time. Thank you for the view of your technology. If you're a developer and you need security on everything and on everywhere and on every person, then maybe you need Macvaar.